keep scrolling past the same faces. Somewhere I already know. I closed the app and opened it again before I even felt the need. There's a version of my afternoon that doesn't have to look like this. So I put the phone face down and left it there. Leave it on red, leave it on red. The world can wait, I'm already gone. Leave it on red, leave it on red. Nothing that urgent, nothing that long. I packed the things that don't need charging, left the notifications on, took the kind of bag that fits one shoulder, lighter than I've been in months. The group chat'll fill without me, the feed will feed itself just fine. There's a train that doesn't know my name yet, and I think that's where I'll spend my time. So I put the phone face down and left it there. Leave it on red, leave it on red. The world can wait, I'm already gone. Leave it on red, leave it on red. Nothing that urgent, nothing that long. Not running from anything specific, just running toward the quiet. Somewhere the signal drops and nobody expects a reply. Leave it on red, leave it on red. Already gone. I reach for my phone out of habit. Nothing there, just a blank screen. Held it anyway for a second, then set it down on the window seat. The room had no Wi-Fi listed, no password taped beside the door. I sat with that for longer than expected, and didn't mind it anymore. Something in me unclenched, without me asking it to. No signal, no plans, nothing to check, nothing to prove. No signal, no plans, just the afternoon and you doing nothing, going nowhere. That's the whole idea. No signal, no plans, and it's fine. It's more than fine from here. I heard the street before I saw it. Somebody's radio, someone's broom, a cat that had no interest in me, taking up the sunny part of the room. I ordered something by just pointing, smiled because I didn't have the words, sat outside until the light went sideways. doing nothing, going nowhere. That's the whole idea. No signal, no plans, and it's fine. It's more than fine from here. I didn't document a single thing. Didn't need to make it last. Just let the whole afternoon happen, like it wasn't the first time I've ever done that. No signal, no plans, no signal, just this. No pin drop, no review written. No one's tagged it in a post. The road that led here wasn't listed. Just a turn I almost missed. Whitewashed walls and uneven cobbles. Laundry strung between the floors. A dog asleep in the exact center of an alley with no cars. Somebody's grandmother in the doorway, looking through me like I'm air. The smell of something slow and olive, coming from I don't know where. A fountain that's been there forever. A cat that owns the afternoon. And nobody has made a reel of this, which means it's still completely true. No filter does this. No caption fits. Somewhere without a name that nobody's discovered yet. Somewhere without a name that the algorithm hasn't met. Just the light on old stone. Just the sound of nothing much. Somewhere without a name, and I found it, and I'm not telling anyone. I sat down at the only table, ordered with my hands and a smile. Stayed until the square went golden, and stayed for a little while. The kind of place that doesn't know it's exactly what everyone is looking for. The kind of place that stays itself because nobody's opened that door. No filter does this. No caption fits. Somewhere without a name that nobody's discovered yet. Somewhere without a name that the algorithm hasn't met. Just the light on old stone. Just the sound of nothing much. Somewhere without a name, and I found it, and I'm not telling anyone. Let them have their curated coastlines. Let them have their ranking lists. This one's mine for this one afternoon before it turns into something before it ends up on a list somewhere without a name that nobody's discovered yet. Somewhere without a name that the algorithm hasn't met. Just the light on old stone, just the sound of nothing much. Somewhere without a name, and I found it, and I'm keeping it. Somewhere without a name, not telling, not telling. I bought a ticket to the end of the line, didn't check what that meant. Took a window seat on the shaded side, watched the platform disappear. The countryside came in without asking, fields and wire and a sudden hill. Someone's washing on a line out back, everything moving, me sitting still. I don't know which town that was, and I don't need to. Nowhere specific, just the next thing coming through the glass. Nowhere specific, just the present tense going past. No arrival time that matters, no one waiting at the end. Nowhere specific, and it's the best I've felt in longer than I can remember when. The man across from me is reading something. The woman by the door is half asleep. A kid is drawing on the foggy window, the kind of art nobody gets to keep. I ate the thing I bought without thinking, from a cart that came and went. Watched a river show up then vanish. Didn't catch the name, didn't need to get it. I don't know which town that was, and I don't need to. Nowhere specific, just the next thing coming through the glass. Nowhere specific, just the present tense going past. No arrival time that matters, no one waiting at the end. Nowhere specific, and it's the best I've felt in longer than I can remember when. There's something about motion that makes the noise go quiet, not going anywhere in particular, is the fastest way I've found to leave it all behind. Nowhere specific, just this, just this. something herbed and olive, drifting from a window left ajar. Somewhere lower radio is going, not close enough to know what song it are. Nothing to do with this except be in it. Stone walls, linen shirts, slow light on everything. Stone walls, linen shirts, the kind of afternoon that doesn't need a thing. Just the heat and the shadow and the sound of somewhere being still. Stone walls, linen shirts, and nothing else to fill. A glass of something cold and cloudy, sweating on a marble top. Two old men at the corner table, playing something that never seems to stop. The cat from yesterday is back again, or maybe it's a different one, taking up the same warm patch of stone just beneath the slipping sun. Nothing to do with this except be in it. Stone walls, linen shirts, slow light on everything. Stone walls, linen shirts, the kind of afternoon that doesn't need a thing. Just the heat and the shadow and the sound of somewhere being still. Stone walls, linen shirts, and nothing else to fill. I used to fill the quiet, now I let it stay. I used to need a reason, now I'm just here, and that's okay. Stone walls, linen shirts, just this. Just this. Nobody here knows what I do for a living. Nobody here knows what I left behind. The woman at the bakery just handed me my change. Didn't need my name, didn't need my mind. I walked the same street twice without explaining. Sat at a bar and ordered just by pointing. Nobody here has a version of me that I have to live up to this morning. No history here, no one to be. A stranger here, and it feels like breathing. A stranger here, like I finally get to choose who I am before the day begins, with no one watching what I do. A stranger here, and for the first time in a long time, that feels like the truth. Gave a different name once just to see how it felt. Ordered coffee like I always come here. Smiled at a kid who had no reason to care, side of this square. I sat with my own silence like it fit me, like I'd grown back into something I'd forgotten. A whole afternoon of no one asking, and all the things I didn't have to be. No history here, no one to be. A stranger here, and it feels like breathing. A stranger here, like I finally get to choose who I am before the day begins, with no one watching what I do. A stranger here, and for the first time in a long time, I think I like who's showing through. Back home I am 100 things to 100 different people. Here I'm just a woman at a table with good coffee and nowhere to be. And that might be the most honest I have felt in years. A stranger here, just me, just me. Hope before the heat gets going, stalls still setting up their rows. Somebody's tomatoes catching early light, the reddest red I've seen in months. A woman weighing figs without looking, her hands already know the weight. I pointed at the one still dewy. She nodded like we'd always done it this way. The bread's still warm inside the paper, a bunch of something green I couldn't name. €2 for a bag of something perfect. No receipt, no app, no loyalty game. An old man selling things his garden made. He threw an extra lemon in because he could. I carried everything back in both arms, heavier than I expected, and that felt good. No translation needed, no signal required. Morning market, hands and smiles and pointed fingers. Morning market, where the whole transaction lingers longer than it needs to, warmer than it has to be. Morning market, this is the economy I wanna live in. I went back twice for nothing specific, just to walk the same row again. Bought a jar of something amber colored from a woman who explained it all in vain. I didn't understand a single word, but took it anyway and knew that it was good. The way you know a thing without the language, the way you always knew it would. No translation needed, no signal required. Morning market, hands and smiles and pointed fingers. Morning market, where the whole transaction lingers longer than it needs to, warmer than it has to be. Morning market, this is the only market I wanna find me. Back home everything that 30 seconds is everything, that 30 seconds is enough. Morning market, hands and smiles and pointed fingers. Morning market, where the whole transaction lingers. Longer than it needs to, warmer than it has to be. Morning market, put me back here every morning. That's enough. Morning market, just this every time. The street I'm on, no one has the number here. The last person who knew my plans was me 3 days ago. Unclear. I turned off the location, let the battery run down slow. There's a version of me right now that absolutely no one knows. Not on any list that matters, not expected anywhere at all. No one checking if I made it, no one waiting for my call. I bought a coffee with real coins from a place with no reviews. The only record of my being here is that I'm standing in these shoes. No coordinates for this, no way back just yet. Off the map, somewhere no algorithm reaches. Off the map, where the signal finally bleaches. Out to nothing, out to quiet, out to just the ground I'm on. Off the map, and I don't know how I lived so long without being gone. Somebody back home is probably wondering why I haven't posted. I'm sitting with that and it's fine. I'm sitting with that and I'm not. No coordinates for this, no way back just yet. Off the map, somewhere no algorithm reaches. Off the map, where the signal finally bleaches. Out to nothing, out to quiet, out to just the ground I'm on. Off the map, and I think I finally understand what it means to just belong. I don't need to be found, I don't need to be seen, I don't need to be anywhere that isn't exactly here. The map was never the territory, the feed was never the life. Right here, no coordinates, this is exactly right. Off the map, somewhere no algorithm reaches. Off the map, where the signal finally bleaches. Out to nothing, out to quiet, out to just the ground I'm on. Off the map, and I don't know how I lived so long without being gone. Without being gone. a glass of something local and cold, and a table with a little drip. The square is doing its afternoon thing. The pigeons and the old fountain sound. I have absolutely nowhere to be, and I'm finally letting that land. Not productivity, not even rest. Just this afternoon wine, no reason, no occasion, no excuse. Afternoon wine, no reason, just the sun and just the view. Nobody's watching the time here, nobody's keeping the score. Afternoon wine, no reason, and I couldn't ask for more. I couldn't ask for more than this. I read the same page over twice, let the condensation ring the wood. Watched a couple argue gently, then make up the way the couple should. The waiter came back without me asking, left another without a word. The afternoon stretched out like something I forgot I was allowed to have. Not productivity, not even rest. Just this afternoon wine, no reason, no occasion, no excuse. Afternoon wine, no reason, just the sun and just the view. Nobody's watching the time here, nobody's keeping the score. Afternoon wine, no reason, and I couldn't ask for more. I couldn't ask for more than this. Back home I justify my leisure, count it against tomorrow's list. Here the afternoon just is what it is, and so am I, and so am I. Afternoon wine, no reason, no reason, just this, just this. I found a pen in the drawer beside the bed, some paper with the hotel's name on top. Sat down without a reason in particular, and wrote until I didn't want to stop. I wrote about the market and the figs, the fountain and the cat in the old square. The way the light comes different here at 5. The feeling of not needing to be anywhere. No send button, no red receipt, just this handwritten. No address, nobody waiting on the other end. Handwritten, no address, just me and the page and what I meant. The words go somewhere, even without a name. Handwritten, no address, and somehow that feels like enough. Somehow that feels like enough. I wrote about the things I used to rush, the mornings I got through without arriving, the version of myself that checked the phone before she even knew that she was trying. I wrote about the afternoon with wine, the train and all the towns I couldn't name. I wrote your name down once and then crossed it out. because it's wrong, but just because. No send button, no red receipt, just this handwritten, no address. Nobody waiting on the other end. Handwritten, no address. Just me and the page and what I meant. The words go somewhere, even without a name. Handwritten, no address. And for the first time in a long time, that feels like more than enough. There's something about writing it by hand that makes it real without requiring witness. Like the act of saying it is all it needs. Like the saying is the whole of it. Handwritten, no address. No address. Just written. Just true. I changed my train to the later one. Told myself I'd leave by 3. 3 became the early evening, and the evening became me. Still sitting at the same cafe, ordering the same thing one more time. Not because I'm lost or stalling, just because I haven't finished saying goodbye. Not sad about it, just not done. Not ready for home, not ready for the inbox and the noise. Not ready for home, not ready for the same old voice that tells me what I'm meant to be doing with every waking hour. Not ready for home, just give me one more coffee, just one more slow hour. I walk the long way to the station, took the street I hadn't tried, bought a thing I didn't need just to have a reason to go inside. Said goodbye to no one formally. Nobody here knew I was leaving. Put my bag down on the platform, looked back twice before believing. Not sad about it, just not done. Not ready for home, not ready for the inbox and the noise. Not ready for home, not ready for the same old voice that tells me what I'm meant to be doing with every waking hour. Not ready for home, and when I get there I'll remember what it felt like to be here. The thing about a place like this is it doesn't ask you anything, doesn't need you to perform, doesn't care what you produce. And home will ask again tomorrow. Home already has a list, but right now I'm still somewhere that doesn't know I exist. Not ready for home, not yet, not quite yet. I ate because I'd actually earned it. Slept because my body asked me to. The kind of hunger that comes from moving, the kind that water actually cures. A tiredness that starts down in the legs and works its way up honest and sure. This is what tired is supposed to feel like. I forgot. Good tired, bones and sunshine and cobblestone. Good tired, the kind that comes from being in your own body all day long, doing what bodies do. Good tired, I forgot what it felt like to earn it like this. I fell asleep before I meant to. Book still open, light still on. Woke up in the dark, not knowing what the time was. Where it had gone. Lay there for a moment just to feel it. The weight of a day that had been real. Not the hollow kind that comes from nothing. The full kind, the kind you actually feel. This is what tired is supposed to feel like. I forgot. Good tired, bones and sunshine and cobblestone. Good tired, the kind that comes from being in your own body all day long, doing what bodies do. Good tired, I forgot what it felt like to earn it like this. Back home, I'm tired from sitting still, from the noise of being reachable. This tired has a different name. This tired means I live today. Good tired, the good kind, the real kind. I tried to log in out of habit. Couldn't remember what I'd said. Stood there for a second thinking, then just put the phone away instead. 8 characters, a capital, a symbol, the whole architecture of my other life. Somewhere in a city I can't picture, locked behind a door I don't need tonight. And the strange thing is, I don't mind at all. Forgotten password, can't remember what it was. Forgotten password, don't think I need to, because nothing that I'm locked out of is something that I'm missing here. Forgotten password, and I haven't felt this clear in a long time. In a long time. There's a version of me back there somewhere, keeping up with everything on time, answering before the thread goes quiet, stay invisible, staying in the line. She can have it for a little forgotten password. Don't think I need to, because nothing that I'm locked out of is something that I'm missing here. Forgotten password. And honestly, it's kinda nice to not be in there. To not be in there. Reset the password when I'm home. Set something new I'll probably forget again. But right now the forgetting is the most useful thing I've done all week. Forgotten password. Can't remember. Don't need to. The bakery opens before the signs say the good tables by the back left wall. The market wraps up by 11, but the prices drop around the stall at 9. There's a shortcut through the churchyard that cuts the whole tourist strip in half. And the cafe with no name above the door is where the coffee is actually at. Nobody told me any of this. I just stayed long enough to see it. What the locals know, the street that isn't on the map. What the locals know, the hour when the city gives it back to the people who actually live here, who don't need a guide to find their way. What the locals know, and I know a little of it now, after all these days. The fountain square gets loud by noon, but quiet again by 8. The old man at the corner table has been there since before the paint. There's a bus that goes the long way round that nobody seems to take. It passes through a part of town that Instagram forgot to make. Nobody told me any of this. I just stayed long enough to see it. What the locals know, the street that isn't on the map. What the locals know, the hour when the city gives it back to the people who actually live here, who don't need a guide to find their way. What the locals know, and I know a little of it now, after all these days. It's not about belonging, I know I'm passing through. It's just that some places show you something true if you slow down enough to let them. What the locals know, a little of it, a little of it now. The shadow of a shutter on a white wall, the sound the square makes just before it rains. A dog that followed me for half a block, then turned around and went back home again. The exact weight of the bag on my shoulder, the way the coffee tasted on that particular street. None of it was worth the story. All of it was everything. No caption for this. No one needed to see it. No highlights, just this. The moments that don't make the reel. No highlights. Tuesday afternoon of being alive. The conversation I half heard at the next table, the pigeon with the very confident walk, the specific pink of the geraniums in a window box I almost didn't catch. The way I felt at exactly 4:15, standing nowhere special, doing nothing much, just present in a way I'd forgotten, just here in a way that was enough. No caption for this, no one needed to see it, no highlights, just this, the moments that don't make the reel. No highlights, just this, the only ones that were actually real. Not the view, not the golden hour, not the outfit or the light. No highlights, just this, the only thing I'll actually remember when I'm home tonight. I used to think that if I didn't post it, it didn't really happen. Now I think the opposite is true. The things I kept are the only things I have. No highlights, just this, just this, just this. I'm back at my desk, same chair, same screen. The inbox filled up while I was gone. Everything exactly where I left it, like nothing happened, which is wrong because something happened. I can feel it in the way I'm sitting, slower than I was before. Something in me is still elsewhere. Something in me didn't come back through the door. And I'm not trying to hold on, I'm just noticing it's still there. A little elsewhere, even now, even here. A little elsewhere, like I left something back there. In that square, in that light, in that coffee, in that slow afternoon. A little elsewhere, and I think I'll let it stay. A little elsewhere for a while. I caught myself walking slower this morning, taking the long way without a reason. Looked for a window seat automatically, ordered without checking what was on the menu. The version of me that came back is not quite the same as the one that left. She's a little quieter, a little less virgin, holding something the other one didn't have yet. And I'm not trying to hold on, I'm just noticing it's still there. A little elsewhere, even now, even here. A little elsewhere, like I left something back there. In that square, in that light, in that coffee, in that slow afternoon. A little elsewhere, and I think I'll let it stay. A little elsewhere for a while. map is back on the shelf. The out of office is off, but somewhere between here and there, I think I found something I didn't know I'd lost. A little elsewhere, still a little elsewhere, somewhere still, somewhere still. "14 tabs and none of them matter. Someone's opinion loading slow. My thumb keeps scrolling past the same